think the origins of how I started was to do with, in the 1960s, you had a lot of very big musical movies. So you had Half a Sixpence, Mary Poppins, Sound of Music. And my mother was an ex-dancer and she took me to see all of those. And it just gave me a passion for performance. But then when I was in my teens, and I'm from Birmingham, so I'm greatly influenced by Black Sabbath and then people like Alice Cooper. But I really appreciated early Roxy Music and early David Bowie, and they probably influenced me more than anything. But that said, Bridge Over Troubled Water still remains. If I could write a song that is anywhere near as iconic as what came off that album, I'd be a very happy person. I was a very young actress. I was the youngest member of the National Theatre when I was 18. And when I was just turned 18, I was in a drama on BBC Two where I had to write music and sing it. And it's pretty bad. My performance is pretty awful, but people loved it, and I ended up at the National Theatre, and that allowed me to be in constant contact with musicians, because I'm mainly a lyricist and I write through what I hear in my head. So I depend very much on arrangers and people who are excellent musicians themselves. So from the age of about 18 onwards, I would call myself the professional I became. You know, that's a really interesting question, because with every decade, I don't know what it's like being a man, but as a woman, every decade I am a different human being. And I sense the world differently, I experience the world differently, therefore I want to write about it differently. And for me, it's not a question of what inspires me after all this time. Life is permanently inspiring. It's about, for me, it's about keeping the connection and enthusiasm, because as you grow older, I find I get more and more private, but I don't stop writing. And I think age is a great gift to performers, but where we live within our culture, it's not always kind of carried along and nurtured. So I'm permanently inspired, and I think that will carry on. I can't see it getting any different. Well, there's been quite a few best bits, and one of them's about to happen. I was a guest of the Old Grey Whistle Test to do the live Christmas Eve show, which had 12 million viewers in 1981. Simon Darlow, who I'm performing with today, we have contributed virtually all the music to a new musical opening in London, Crime and Punishment. Opens on the 30th of August. That's going to have a life ahead of it. It's going to tour. So we're really looking forward to that. For me, that's a first. You know, I'm normally performing in musicals, but this time I've actually contributed as a writer. So it's, for me, that's pretty much a landmark. I love the business as it is, but that's because I've got 40 years of history behind me. And I can go anywhere in the UK and perform. I can go to a church hall, a village hall, a big theatre, a big festival, and I love that. I love the variety. I also love the fact that I can post something and it finds a completely new audience. I'm completely ungoverned by any form of structure whatsoever. For me, that is exciting. I think the most important thing I've ever heard is treat your instinctive voice as the first voice you take seriously, because if you're signed to a management or you're signed to a label and they start trying to hone you in a direction that suits them and not you, trust your instincts.